I've been advised to stand and let you take a photograph and then go away. And I'm sure you've had enough time to take a decent photograph.
Harold Shipman is considered to be one of the most prolific serial killers in modern history, with an estimated 250 victims. In this video, we will take a look at where this monster grew up, where he lived and where he worked, and see what these places look like today, over 20 years later.
No question, he did nothing. He did nothing. But no one else will say any different, I can tell you that now.
Talk's cheap, isn't it, in a village like this? I mean, all sorts of rumours go around. And as I say, I feel my heart goes out to Dr. Shipman. It really does. And until something is proved, then I think everybody's sort of saying he's guilty before he's even being seen, probably by the police.
Harold Shipman grew up here in Basford, a council estate in Nottingham, and this is where he spent his early years. It is widely believed he was born in this house, but it is very difficult to confirm whether this is the case. What you see here is Shipman's house where he lived right up until his arrest. This is approximately 4 miles from his surgery in Hyde.
Police in Tameside and Greater Manchester are investigating the deaths of 20 people who are all patients of the same GP. The GP involved in the inquiry is Dr. Harold Shipman.
The surgery, where even here at his place of work, a few of Harold Shipman's patients lost their lives. The old surgery is today a restaurant.
I can picture the room. I can remember where I was sitting, and John was at the side, and then his legal representative, and he was there.
The time presently is 1:33 p.m. on Monday the 7th of September 1998. The first of the tape, could you tell me your full name, please?
Harold Frederick Shipman.
Britain's biggest ever murder inquiry started 6 weeks earlier with a phone call about a fraud.
I got a telephone call telling me about the fact that there had been some suspicions around a will which had been written for a woman called Kathleen Grundy.
Kathleen Grundy was a former mayor of Hyde. She had died a month earlier. Her will set alarm bells ringing in the mind of her daughter, Angela Woodruff, a solicitor.
Angela Woodruff was really concerned that there was something not right about the circumstances surrounding this will, about how it had turned up. She didn't think that it was her mother's wishes at all, and she wanted it investigating.
One of the things that's talked about in the will is about leaving my house to my doctor. Well, Kathleen Grundy actually owned 2 properties, so if she was writing her own will, she would have been talking about leaving my 2 houses, which indicated that it hadn't been written by Kathleen Grundy.
The doctor named in the will was Kathleen Grundy's GP, Harold Frederick Shipman.
If you were to ask any patient of Harold Shipman, who I've known for some 20 years as my GP, they would only see him like I see him, as an extremely hard-working and caring GP.
You just think how many people thought we'd made it up, that it was a pack of lies.
They thought the world of him.
But why?
His patients thought he was God's gift.
Nobody felt that they could speak against him. He was this invincible man who trusted. As we know ourselves from the reaction from people that we met.
He obviously thought he was invincible. He was an arrogant bastard, without a doubt.
We'll move on to Mrs. Grundy's will. That will has been forensically examined and found to be a forgery. Do you have any comment to make about that?
No, I've got no comment to make.
He's asked a number of direct questions about it, which he deals with very simply and straightforwardly, just by saying no.
The letters in the will were all typed on your typewriter. Can you account for that?
No.
He was quite comfortable in his own mind that he could tough it out simply by denying everything.
This is the typewriter that's kept in your surgery.
This is a typewriter that was loaned out to Mrs. Grundy on 2 or 3 occasions.
You allege that Mrs. Grundy borrowed the typewriter on 2 or 3 occasions. We're talking here about a lady who was 81. I would imagine they have some difficulty in humping a typewriter that high, but I'm asking who could have used your typewriter to type that letter.
No, I'm answering that I don't know.
The initial investigation into Kathleen Grundy's death soon led to questions being asked about the sudden deaths of many more of Dr. Shipman's patients, not only by the police but by hundreds of concerned relatives of the victims, questions that would soon reveal one of the worst serial killers of our time.
TV crews descended on Dr. Shipman's surgery.
Rather than standing there, would it be possible for you to sort of come and get something out of your car and then go back in? I've been advised to stand and let you take a photograph and then go away. And I'm sure you've had enough time to take a decent photograph. Is it possible for you just to say anything at all? Back into surgery to do my surgery.
I was at the end of every street with a long lens, photographing him with his solicitor. Eventually he saw me and walked over to me quite quickly over the road and said, "Is that what you want? Is that what you want?" And he just gave me an awful look. His solicitor led him away and then went into the police station. They were the last photographs of him.
There was no remorse, really, for what he'd done. He was kind of hollowed out as a man, that there was nothing inside. I was pretty convinced that he would never confess.
Dr. Badcock declared Shipman was mentally fit and the police could resume questioning, but Shipman refused to cooperate with the police in any way.
I think we've already been through the point of you refusing to give us your name and full date of birth.
In a later interview, Shipman even turned his back on detectives.
So if we can start off just by going through all the deaths, Dr. Shipman, and the first one I'd like to speak to you about is the death of a lady by the name of Lily Crossley. I have here a photograph of Lily Crossley, if you'd like to look at that, just for the benefit of the tape. Dr. Shipman's eyes are closed and he didn't look at the photograph at all.
Harold Shipman was found guilty of 15 murders and was sentenced to life. The police, however, knew that Shipman was responsible for hundreds more. This video was just to show you the main locations attributed to this horror of a man. For more insight into his crimes, there are many videos to be found elsewhere, but we hoped you found this interesting and would consider subscribing. It really helps the channel. Thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.